Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. I'm Cassidy. If you're new here, welcome. It's really nice to meet you. If you are returning, welcome back. It's really good to see you again. So today we're going to be talking about Tick Tock by Dean Koontz. As always with these kinds of videos, it's going to be an entire summary of the book and my thoughts while reading throughout. So if you would like to read the novel without any spoilers, please click off the video, go read the book, click back on once you have, and let me know what you thought. If anyone is interested, this is the bookmark I was using while reading it. It's Danny Phantom and in like a half human, half ghost form. And then if you see me look down or off to the side, I'm simply referring back to my notebook. I wrote down my notes while reading this book, and I do not have it all memorized, unfortunately. Alright, so let's get into it. Tick Tock by Dean Koontz. Tommy Phan is a successful detective novelist living the American dream in Southern California. One evening, he comes home to find a small rag doll on his doorstep. It's a simple doll, covered entirely in white cloth, with crossed black stitches for the eyes and mouth, and another pair forming an X over the heart. Curious, he brings it inside. That night, Tommy hears an odd popping sound and looks up to see the stitches breaking over the doll's heart. And in minutes, the fabric of Tommy Phan's reality will be torn apart. Something terrifying emerges from the pristine white cloth, something that will follow Tommy wherever he goes. Something that he can't destroy. It wants Tommy's life, and he doesn't know why. He has only one ally, a beautiful, strangely intuitive waitress he meets by chance, or by design far beyond his comprehension. He has too many questions, no answers, and very little time, because the vicious and demonically clever doll has left this warning on Tommy's computer screen. The deadline is dawn. Tick tock. Time is running out. Alright, so the first questions I have after reading the back are, where's the doll come from, obviously? Does the waitress somehow have a history with this doll? She's very intuitive. Like, is she intuitive because she knows what it is and where it came from? And then, is it only one night? It says that the deadline is dawn, but is it truly only one night that all this happens in? So we start off with Tommy buying a Corvette. It's his dream car from Jimmy Shine. Except when he goes to take the keys from Jimmy, he feels a sudden chill so intense he just drops them. But once he gets in the car, starts driving, the chill, the feeling, all that's long gone. He decides to call his mom, tell her that he bought this amazing car, his dream car. He's so excited. And his mom is not happy with him. They're Vietnamese. They moved from Vietnam when Tommy was 8. And she doesn't like that he wants to be so American, that he's like losing who he is, like his Vietnamese heritage and that side of him. And she invites him over for dinner, like making him his favorite Vietnamese, like comfort food. And he says no, that this is his dream, this is his life. She's not happy with his career either of being a novelist. And he's like, it's who I want to be. So they hang up. And after hanging up, Tommy feels that deep chill again while driving. And then the radio stops working in his new Corvette. It starts to play like water sounds, but then as it grows louder, Tommy realizes that the water sounds are actually static sounds playing his old name, which is Phan Tran Tuong. He changed it when he legally could to Tommy Phan. The noise eventually stops, and then Tommy starts to feel really guilty over how he treated his mom, and he contemplates going over for dinner, but he decides not to, and he decides to combat that by being as American as possible and going to a diner where he eats extremely fatty food, like 2 cheeseburgers, fries, a shake. While there, he gets waited on by a beautiful waitress, blonde bombshell, and he thinks she might be flirting with him, but he is so not smooth. So he doesn't know. He doesn't flirt back. He just leaves. Gets home, hears the doorbell ring, and upon going outside, he realizes that there's a rag doll outside. Wind is acting really strange, but the rag doll intrigues him, and so he brings it inside, and there is a note pinned to it. The note is in Vietnamese, a language he can no longer read. So he just kind of puts the doll aside, goes about his evening. When he comes back, he thinks that the doll has moved. He laid it like sitting up, and then when he goes back, it like has fallen over, but it's a pretty weighty doll. It wouldn't fall over that easily, and it's not like there's a really bad draft. It's not like they're outside. So he decides to call his reporter friend. He thinks maybe one of the Vietnamese gangs has sent that as a warning sign as retribution for his old articles. He used to be a reporter, but now he recently quit that job to become a full-time novelist. So his reporter friend is like, no, that's so not their style. Like a rag doll? Are you kidding me? But fax over the note. I'll translate it for you. Or like, I'll get it translated for you. The reporter friend doesn't know Vietnamese. So he faxes it and gets a call back from his friend. He's like, hey, you faxed it wrong. It's upside down. There's no like words on it. He's like, I could have sworn I did it right. Faxes it again, nothing. And it is right. So it's just the words aren't transferring. They're not going through. So he kind of just leaves that be. He puts the note in his pocket and he goes about his night a little more. He's going to start working on his novel. He writes about a badass Vietnamese American detective, Chip Nguyen. He also brings the rag doll into his work room, study room. So Tommy sits down to work on his novel, except the words deadline is dawn is typed into his computer. He knows that he didn't write it, and he's just like, this is weird. I don't know what's going on here. But he still has a very rational mind going on, so he sits down. He sits on a pin. It happens to be the exact same pin that was pinned to the letter to the rag doll. And then he starts to hear snapping. He looks over, and the sutures on the rag doll are snapping open, and a creature is starting to emerge. Tommy runs out of the room, goes to get his gun, and then when he comes back, he's terrified to open the door. He's so scared he can barely move, and he only finally opens the door because he doesn't want to like disappoint his character and the character he created for his novels, Chip. Chip is a badass detective who isn't scared of anything and always gets all the girls and everything. Like, has no fear and is so brave. And Tommy doesn't want to like do his character poorly by not acting like him. So he opens the door. He goes inside. Can't find the creature immediately. Does find it. And it's morphed. It has like claws, talons, spikes along its back, has beady green eyes. And it seems to be like a creature wearing the ragdoll skin, almost like a costume. And Tommy shoots the thing. He calls it a minikin. So Tommy shoots the minikin like straight in the chest, and minikin's not even phased. Just digs out the slug itself and is like, boop, there it goes. And then he's like running around this little workroom, eventually makes its way to the outlet with some metal and causes an outage. Tommy has half a mind to just open fire blindly into the room, but he knows that that's not smart and the likelihood of actually hitting the minikin is so low. So he decides to feign bravery and fearlessness. So he goes into the middle of the room and, keeping his voice as calm as possible, just starts asking questions. Why me? Why are you here? What do you want? Eventually, he makes his way to the door. Minikin doesn't attack him. So makes his way to the door, opens it, Minikin escapes, and starts causing outages all over the place. There is a massive storm going on, by the way, during all of this, so none of the neighbors heard the gunshot earlier. And so for a brief second, Tommy was hoping that there are outages all over the neighborhood, but it's only his house. So he goes into the garage and he's gonna leave in his new Corvette, just escape the house. Except an outage happens in the garage when he's opening up the garage door halfway through, so he has to open it manually, which wastes precious time. And he has to focus on opening the garage door, so he can't look around to see if he sees something scurrying by. But he opens the garage door, he escapes, finally, and he's like, where do I go? Who do I go to? He thinks about going to his mom, but he doesn't, not for fear of her being hurt, which I think is kind of funny, but for fear that she won't believe him, that she'll just think that he has become too American and is drinking too much whiskey, ate too many fatty foods, and that she just won't believe him. So he decides to go to his older brother. He is the middle brother of the siblings. He has two older brothers, both of which are way more Vietnamese and have accepted the Vietnamese culture than him. His oldest brother is like fully accepting of the Vietnamese culture and heritage and everything. The middle brother that he wants to go to is more like half and half accepting of Vietnamese culture and American culture. Like his kids have both Vietnamese and American names. He also does have a little sister, but she was never in the equation for if he was going to go to her or not. They escaped Vietnam when Tommy was 8, and his brothers, I think, were like 12 and 14. I know it might be older. It might be like 14 and 16. I know there's a bit of an age gap. And then his little sister, and then there's an age gap with his little sister. I think she's was like a baby when they escaped. So like there's a bit of an age gap between all the siblings. Also, both of his brothers and his father work in the family business, which is actually baking. They wanted Tommy to work with them as well, but Tommy has always refused. Suddenly, while he's driving, his car starts making an awful noise. And he's like, what's going on? What is it? Of course it's the Minikin. What else could it be? And then the noise stops, but then the car just stops working. It jerks all the way over to the side into the other lane. The brakes stop working, the accelerator is stuck, and he crashes. Not into cars, he crashes into like a ravine. He's finally able to kind of get the steering wheel to work and go back onto his side, but it overcorrects, or the steering wheel overcorrects, or he does. He crashes. He's able to like get out with very, very minor injuries. It's crazy. And a good Samaritan like has stopped and is like going to him. Is like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, let me help you. At first, Tommy wants the good Samaritan to see the Minikin. He knows it's the Minikin that crashed him. And so someone else believes it. But then he realizes that the Minikin's not going to want any witnesses. So if that good Samaritan sees the Minikin, that good Samaritan is going to not be alive anymore. Suddenly, a fire starts in the car. His gun is still in the car. So the fire causes the gun to go off. Bullets are flying. Good Samaritan finally stops. Minikin has escaped before the fire started. And Tommy notices that it's grown in size. It was probably like less than a foot when he first saw it. And now it's like 2 feet-ish. I can't remember the exact measurements he gave, but it has definitely grown in size. Luckily, the Minikin seems to be fascinated by the fire and is like just staring like in awe of it. So Tommy's able to escape. However, he almost gets run over by the beautiful blonde bombshell waitress that waited on him earlier that night. She's like, oh my God, are you okay? What's going on? He's like, you need to leave. Go. Drive away. She's like, no, I'm not leaving you. Get in the car. And he finally gets in the car just so that the Minikin won't hurt her. And so they drive off, and the Minikin attaches itself to the car, like window or something, like area. And she is like, hang on, sideswipes another car to get the Minikin to like get off their car, and it works. And she doesn't damage their car. She like barely loses any speed. It's incredible. She's amazing and so amazing. Like so talented. Like I wish I could be her. And then she introduces herself. Her name is Dell. Well, she goes by Dell. Her full name is Deliverance Payne because her mom had a sense of humor. Her mom had a sense of humor after she was born. So, Deliverance Payne, Dell for short. So, Dell and Tommy decide to do a little bit of shopping because the window to Dell's car, the one that the creature like latched onto, and then when she sideswiped, it shattered. So, needs to be repaired. And this whole time, Dell is like teasing Tommy relentlessly, saying he needs to eat more tofu because it's good for prostate health and prevents prostate cancer. She's asking him really weird questions, and that is a theme with her. She will ask the most random questions, and I cannot describe to you how odd Dell is and how weird it seems to Tommy, but she's incredible. So Tommy asks Dell to drop him off to see his brother G at the bakery. And then she's good. He's like, I'm so sorry about all this. Please leave. She's like, no, I'm in it. And he's like, no. She's like, no, I am in this. You can't expect me to leave after witnessing what I've witnessed already. Plus, that Minikin is also going to come after me because I'm a witness. So when it finishes up with you, it'll just be after me anyway. So no, we're staying together. He's like, fine, whatever. So they go to see G, who is instantly suspicious of Del. Like, Tommy's mom's worst fear is that he's going to come home with, like, a blonde American. And that's exactly what she is. And he's suspicious of why she's with Tommy, what's going on. Tommy's like, she saved my life. Please be nice. And Tommy tells G the gist of everything that's going on, but he doesn't say it's a ragdoll or supernatural or anything like that. Basically, he says some guy is after him, and that he's in danger. G's like, stay here. Like, most of the bakers, if not all of them, are Vietnamese, like came from Vietnam during a time of war and strife, and they know how to fight. They know how to deal with things. And Tommy's like, you don't know how to deal with this. And so he doesn't stay. But he does give G the note, the Vietnamese note. He's like, can you tell me what this says? G's like, this is rain-soaked. Like, the letters are smudged, and with the Vietnamese language, like, every stroke is so important. So with it being smudged, he won't be able to tell all the characters. But he's like, I'll have it dry, and I'll see what I can do, and I'll give you a call. Tommy thanks his brother, and him and Del leave. G and Tommy are both really upset with how the conversation with their brother went. He feels like, they each feel like that their brother doesn't love or trust him, when in actuality they do love each other. It's just Tommy wants to keep G safe, and G wants to keep Tommy safe. Once outside, Del is like, Tommy, stop. The Minikin is in the van. It is waiting for us. Tommy's like, I don't see anything. But Del kind of enters this like trance-like state where she's almost like channeling the Minikin. It lasts for like a minute or so. And then once that ends, she's like, we're stealing a car. Tommy's like, no, these are my brother's employees. We're not stealing a car. She's like, we're borrowing a car then. It'll be fine. Come on, let's go. And so she goes to like hotwire a car. It happens super quickly. And Tommy is protesting, but Del isn't listening to him, so he jumps in the car, and then when they turn around, the van is no longer there, which means the Minikin is driving it, which means it has to have grown considerably in size. At least that's what Del says. She is very intuitive, and she kind of just knows what's going on, and like, she knew that the Minikin was in there. She knows that it's grown, which that you can also say is logic, but she's a very intuitive girl. Del's driving. She wants to go get her dog, so they go to her place first. While driving, she tells the story of her father and her parents, kind of. Just like a little thing of it. Her father died of pancreatic cancer, and he was suffering horribly, and he didn't want to suffer, so he asked his wife, Del's mom, to shoot him, to kill him. And Del's mom does exactly that. She kills him. She gets arrested, of course, but is acquitted the moment the jury hears the story. They're all crying, and that's how Del describes it, as everyone crying in the courtroom over the, like, tragic love story between them, and I love them. But Del says something that gets Tommy's attention, where it's like, too bad he didn't die after I reached puberty. But what can you do? Fate is fate. And he's like, what do you mean? Del also does not answer any of Tommy's questions. Like, he has a billion questions. And she answers basically none of them, or she answers them in, like, riddles. She's hilarious. And so weird. I wish I could, like, convey to you how odd she is and how amazing she is, but it's just, you have to read the book to understand fully. So they arrive at Del's. It's a mansion. And he's like, I thought you were a waitress. She's like, a waitress is what I do. An artist is who I am. And he's like, you have this mansion from art? And she's like, no, I'm an heiress. My dad was an incredible poker player. Like, the best of the best. So they go to get her dog, Scooty. And he is so smart. Like, weirdly smart. Extremely sassy. Like, he steals one of Tommy's shoes or something, and Del's like, give it back, and he gives it back, and he is like, he's also very intuitive. This girl and her dog. So Dell changes, she grabs 2 guns, and then Tommy has like almost a click moment where he's like, I want to see your art. She's like, I thought we were in a hurry. He's like, this will take a minute. I just want to see your art. Like, I want to go up to your art studio. And she's like, no. And he's like, it'll just take a minute. And he goes to like go up, which is so rude. This is not your house. But Dell levels one of the guns at him and threatens to shoot him in the leg. She's like, Tommy, I think you're my destiny and I don't want to shoot you, but I will if I have to. You are not ready to see what is in that art studio. And he's like, weirdly enough, they're both falling for each other. They both have massive feelings for one another. They met just a couple hours ago and really like actually started talking like even shorter time frame than that. And they're both like already in love. And it's so cute. It's so funny. It's a weird relationship, but I adore them. So he doesn't go up to the art studio. They leave. However, the creature is already outside. It is no longer a minikin because it is wearing the body of, or took the form of, the Good Samaritan. Scooty is actually the one who alerted them to the creature being out there. So they decide to go back inside the house. Even though Dell locked the door unlocks almost too fast, like almost instantaneously. They go through the house, outside. The creature is following them. So it is Tommy, Dell, and Scooty. They go through the backyard. They go through other people's backyards as well. When 2 guys stop them, like Tommy gets tackled because they think they're intruders, which is a fair assumption, but like, So they stop them. The creature starts walking up towards them. Dell shoots it so many times in the chest. She's like a sharpshooter, but it doesn't stop. So finally, Dell and Tommy leave, and those 2 men who thought they were being Good Samaritans and were stopping the bad guys, they end up being killed by the creature. Tommy's feeling really guilty, and Dell's like, it's like, there's nothing that could have been done. There's nothing you could have done. Unfortunately, that's just how it happens sometimes. They end up taking refuge on like a merry-go-round. They have a minute. Tommy is like super anxious, but also really tired. And Dell's like, it's okay. We have a minute. She like gives him a neck massage. And after the massage, he's like wide awake. He feels really good. Like all of his aches and pains in his joints were gone. And he's just feeling good. She also asks some more questions. I really should have written down some of these questions because they're hilarious and so just off the wall. But she asks weird questions, and then they end up kissing, which, yay! Super cute. Oh my god, I love them. He knows, like, nothing about her aside from her dad died from pancreatic cancer, and the mom killed him so he wouldn't suffer. But he's, like, so infatuated, and Jen, it's, like, love at this point. Adore them. The creature then arrives, but for some reason it can't seem to locate them on the merry-go-round. And then suddenly a giant like flock of birds, like way too many, just like kind of dive bomb the creature, and the creature disappears momentarily. So Tommy and Dell decide to run away and steal a boat. And at this point, Tommy's just like, fine, whatever. The boat starts basically the moment Dell leaves Tommy's sight, and he's remembering weird things about her. So the boat started right away. The car started really fast. The door opening like instantaneously and unlocking right away. He's like, this is not a normal girl. The creature gets on board the boat. Tommy ends up shooting it because Dell is driving the boat. But it's still coming. So finally Dell's like, I got this. And starts to fire again, like instantaneously. Like there is no time in between her leaving and starting the fire. The boat crashes like hard. And then Tommy and Dell are able to escape the creature and get off the boat. So after escaping the boat and the creature, they steal Ferrari, which starts before Dell's even in the door. And Tommy's like, what is going on? Who are you? What can you do? Dell refuses to answer any of his questions. She's like, I think she just blows him off. So Tommy decides to change the subject, and he's like, that poor person whose boat we stole now has no boat. And she's like, oh, don't worry, that boat was mine. He's like, what? Dell decides to drive to her mother's, who we find out very quickly is as weird and crazy and amazing as Dell is. Also, Dell knows so many people. They get stopped by the cops because she's driving insanely fast, and the cop instantly lets her go. Like, doesn't even give her a warning. And he let her go because it was Dell. And he's like, say hi to your mom for me. She's like, will do. And then when they get to the mom's place, there's like a guard at the gate who also knows Dell really well. And it's revealed that he has a daughter who had cancer, was extremely sick. She doesn't have cancer anymore, and it's like a medical miracle. And he's like, thanks for visiting her so often, Dell. She always loves seeing you. And she's like, yeah, of course. So they go to Dell's mom's, and they borrow a car from her. And Dell tells her mom that Tommy is the one. Ah! Which, it can't be anything other than the one. Romantic styles. Ah, so excited. There is also a butler there, Mummingford. I think, yeah, Mummingford. And he takes everything in stride. God, I love him. He does whatever needs to be done. And we find out he likes the night shifts better because they're more entertaining, which is so fair. But he, like, returns the stolen Ferrari. He's a king, and I love him. Dell's mom talks about her husband briefly with Tommy while Dell is doing things around the house, and says that he visits her every night on the late night show. And she's like, of course the rest of the world doesn't see it. It's just for me. And you believe her. Like, part of you thinks she's a little crazy, but like, also a big part of you just believes what she says. She also goes by literally any name imaginable, and Tommy just uses them interchangeably. Like, it's like Lilith, Marianne, Charlotte, I don't even remember all the names, but she goes by any of them. And I think Tommy just starts using them interchangeably as like a joke, but he's just so used to this at this point. Dell gives Tommy a phone so that he can call his brother G and see if he translated the Vietnamese note. And he's like, I called mom. Tommy's like, why'd you call mom? And he's like, I called mom. You need to go see her right away. G also doesn't like Dell, and he thinks that she's trouble. And Tommy's like, she's literally saved my life more times than I can count. Stop it. G also reveals that their younger sister decided to elope and marry a magician in Vegas, so the mother is so not happy. And won't be happy to see Dell, but Tommy's just like, well, that's too damn bad, because we're both going to see her. When leaving, Dell's mom is like, bye, hope you don't die, kind of thing. And he's like, me too, but if I do, I'll visit you on the late night show. And she's like, oh, I love that. It's so funny. I love them so much. So Tommy and Dell go to see Mrs. Fan, Tommy's mom, and she instantly doesn't like Dell at all. Like, it's like hardcore criticizing her. Dell likes her. She's like, well, I like you. And she doesn't take anything the mom says to heart. Like, what a queen. And I would definitely not be like that. I would take so much to heart and be so mad and annoyed. And I'd be like, dude, you gotta drop your mom. She's so rude. Anyway, the mom reveals that it was actually her friend, Mrs. Dai, who created the rag doll. She never wanted the rag doll to be something evil or try to kill Tommy. She just wanted Tommy to come back into the fold, into the Vietnamese culture. But she made a mistake. She knows magic because of where she grew up in Vietnam, but obviously isn't fabulous at it because she made a freaking mistake, and this rag doll's trying to kill Tommy. Tommy's so mad. She's like, she's my friend. She made a mistake. God. But it is important to know that the mom had no idea that her friend was doing this until she decided to call her up after G had called her. So the mom had no prior knowledge. It's not like she was behind this as well or wanted this really. I know she wants Tommy back into the fold, but this is a very extreme reaction, I feel like. So they decide to go to Mrs. Dai's house because the creature can't enter her domain because she created him, or well, really summoned the creature that inhibits the rag doll. Mrs. Dai also does not like Scooty. She doesn't like dogs. And like doesn't want him in her home, but she realizes that she really messed up, so she's like, fine. The creature ends up breaking like a window and coming in, or like the glass door, and it seems it's shocked at its own boldness. Like, it's not supposed to be able to do that. But it comes in, so Mrs. Dai decides to rub her blood on all of them, so it can't tell who is actually who, and it definitely cannot kill Mrs. Dai, this creature. So making them all smell like her is the right move, because if it can't tell which one is actually not Mrs. Di, then it can't kill any of them, basically. She also does rub her blood on Scooty as well, even though she doesn't want to, but she does it. Finally, as the creature's just like trying to figure out who is who, dawn comes, and the creature just turns back into a ragdoll. Mrs. Di is taking it. She has to do some magic to like get rid of the doll. But that is the end of the creature and the creature trying to kill Tommy. Then Mrs. Di and Mrs. Fan are like, Tommy, please, like, I'm so sorry, like, have a pastry, have some tea. And Dell pulls him aside. And she's like, don't eat or drink anything. He's like, why not? She's like, there are many ways to bring a wayward son back into the fold. They may have gone with the extreme reaction, like this past time, when a simple spell and some tea would do the trick just as well. So Tommy and Dell decide to leave. And Mrs. Di is like, Dell, when's your birthday? And she's like, oh, it's Christmas. And she's like, Christmas? And she's like, oh, did I say Christmas? I meant Easter. And she's like, Easter. And she's like, she just keeps listing off different holidays. And then she like turns to Tommy. She's like, birthdays are also important to spells as well. Tommy is basically in anguish. He's like, I love my mom, but I don't know what to do. I can't trust her anymore. He is so sad and disappointed in his mom. And Dell is just like, we'll just get married. And Dell's just like, oh, don't worry. We'll just get married. It'll double our power. She's like, you just have to propose to me. And he does. He's like, deliverance pain, will you marry me? She's like, yes. So they decide to fly off to Vegas. And by fly off, I mean Dell is the one flying the plane. She's a pilot. They decide to fly off to Vegas. They shower, they get changed, and they marry. Della's mom is there, as well as the butler, Mummingford, as well as Tommy's little sister, Mai, and her new husband, the magician, the one she eloped with, which I am so happy that Tommy had some family there at his wedding. And that it's his little sister, and that they're both not into, like, the whole Vietnamese, like, they're both kind of rebels, and I love it. Tommy and Dell end up getting married in under 18 hours of meeting each other, which beats Dell's mom and dad, who got married after, like, 19 hours of knowing each other. Dell's very happy about that. She wanted to beat her mom's record. Dell tells Tommy that she wants to reveal all her secrets to him, that they're married now, and Tommy's ready. And so she ends up flying them back to her house and lets him see her art. And she has been painting Tommy for 2 whole years. The moment Tommy walked into that diner, Dell knew it was him and that they were soulmates. And that was it. They then go to announce the news to Mrs. Fan that they just got married, and she is distraught. She's like yelling at them. She's saying it's disrespectful. It's rude. She's so rude to them. She is livid. And then Dell decides to tell basically everybody who she actually is and her story. Her parents were abducted by aliens, and they were allowed to remember the experience because they were nice aliens who abducted them. And so the aliens basically made Dell. They took her mom's egg and her father's sperm and a little bit of magic, and boom, she's got powers. They didn't hit until puberty, though, and so, like, one of her powers is to heal. So that gate guard's daughter who had cancer, she healed, but her dad, she couldn't heal because she hadn't hit puberty yet. She also made it so that Tommy never has to sleep again. That massage she gave him at the merry-go-round that made him feel like wide awake and way better, and just all of his aches and pains were gone. He never has to sleep again. And not like I'll be kind of tired the whole time, but I don't need sleep. Like, he's wide awake, and he will stay wide awake for the rest of his life. I feel like, as much as I've always wanted that, because I think sleep is a waste of time. I know we need it. I wish we didn't, because, oh my God, you need to sleep for so long. There's so much you could do in that time. I think you straight up would go crazy if you couldn't sleep. But maybe that's part of the spell too. He'd be fine. Doesn't go crazy. Like, I would take that in a heartbeat. So, Dell also revealed that the aliens had sent her a guardian because her job is to clean up after extraterrestrials and the messes they create on Earth, and her guardian is Scooty. Mrs. Fan doesn't believe a word until Scooty shows his power. After that, she's like, Tommy, you married a great woman. She's so excited about their marriage. Like, the biggest fan. And then everyone goes to Vegas to celebrate, and that is everybody. Mrs. Fan, Mr. Fan, both of Tommy's brothers, and their wives, their children, and they all celebrate together with the daughter. Everyone makes up, and it's a big happy family, and we love it. So cute. This is a wild story, you guys. Like, I cannot describe how crazy and how weird it is. It's a great read. It's a really fun one. So if you haven't read this story, I don't think I did it justice. Please go read it. It's so fun. It's so good. You know how it ends, but it's still such a good read. So yeah, that is the story of Tick Tock, of Tommy and Dell and their wild ride. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. If you've read it, like what your thoughts were. If you didn't read it, what you thought of just the story of me retelling it. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!